What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. His opponent today in the blue color playing as Set. His name is Joe. Game number 4. Joe has taken 2 games. Nullus has been awarded 1 game. Game number 4. All Joe has to do is win this game and he gets to move on to the semi-finals. Match point on the way. We'll see how this game's going to go. We do get to see Joe's set here, but it is against Nullus's Hades. There's a couple of gods in which Set does struggle against, and I think that those gods are fairly obvious. It's basically just Hades and Poseidon. Maybe also Zeus as well. Thank you so much for the Prime 8 months smoking smoke. So we'll see how this is going to go. Hades has got a good time against Set because he's really hard to break. And Set is a timing attack god, as I've said a million times, and I'll say a million times more. Set doesn't really win the late game against most late game kings. So if you think about the late game gods in this game, the gods that come to mind are Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, maybe Ra, maybe I guess you could possibly think as Odin as a late game beast in his own way, but more of a team game late game beast than anything else. And then you go over to the Atlanteans, you get Gaia as a late game beast, and you don't really think about Set. You don't really include Set there. Maybe Isis as well with the extra 9 population. So what does Set do in order to win this game, and what does Hades do in order to stop Set from winning? So Set's got a couple of different options here. So first option that I think is really, really strong is going to be a Chariot Archer semi-fast mythic into a big timing attack. Because there's no ceasefire, the idea is going to be that you want to force, or at least you want to play into the fact that your Greek opponent wants to grab a whole bunch of town centers. So you do a fast 2 town center build, you get to the heroic age around 7:30 to 8 minutes into the game. You then spam out Chariot Archers, Siege Towers in the heroic gauge, raiding it as best as you can, picking off any straggler military units as best as you can, and then you put pressure onto the forward town center that your opponent has grabbed, and then when you hit the mythic gauge, you basically cast vision on the back town center. You pull back, you shifting sands, say 10 to 15 villagers, Pharaoh, Chariot Archers, Avenger, everything else onto that location. You take that town center down and you tornado the middle town center as well while you're doing it, and then you're good to go. But the thing is that Hades actually has access to Restoration, and Restoration counters Tornado. So you might want to use Tornado on the town center that you are planning to shifting sands onto as another idea. But anyways, a very, very strong way to play for the Set player is to do shifting sands ideas in timing attacks to get your opponent out of position. So the next question is going to be, well, why is Hades so good against that style of play? And the answer is simply like Hades has got the building, defenses, and nobody, and Hades can just kind of do Hades things here and be okay. Unlike against Ra, Hades can fairly comfortably make Toxotes. Toxotes aren't so bad against the Set Chariot Archers because the Set Chariot Archers only have 5.0 speed. So if they get caught out, the Chariot Archers are at least going to be able to deal some damage. The Chariot Archers also can't micro in and out to get picks without taking a little bit of damage. And we are seeing Tar coming through. We've got ourselves already 8 villagers on gold for Joe. He's over here on this food, ready to throw up his town center over here. He's got food left in his base. His priest over here is stealing Aurochs, so he might be able to eat those in his base. We do see some relics on the map. The Staff of Dionysus is here, plus 20 villager food carry capacity. Not a bad relic there at all. Do we see any other relics being grabbed thus far? Doesn't look like we have, as the Ajax has one in his hand. There it is, the Ship of Fingernails. Not a bad relic either, 24 free food. It's basically worth a half a villager-ish on food, as we are seeing the vision getting dropped here. Joe might actually shifting sands these cows back to his base. Personally, I don't actually think that this is a good idea, but the villagers are going to be pulling away, going to be getting this town center. Thanks so much for the 12 months, Howard Hughes. Anniversary. Where are we going? What am I treating you to? Or what are you treating me to? How does that work? How does anniversaries work? I don't know. Anyways, onwards and upwards. We are seeing the Ajax getting pushed back as the villagers are going to be getting this town center up. We don't see the shifting sands being used by Joe, even though all of the cows are on this one. That's 8 cows he could have stolen and taken into his base. Sometimes we do see that being used as the Auroch going to be getting attacked down by the Ajax. It will get picked off. Nice marker there from Joe. And Ajax will go down having delivered the relic, Ship of Fingernails, in for Joe's Fair. Thank you so much for the 7 months, Chronom. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. Hype train. Alrighty, so Town Center just about to be up for Joe. Town Center just started now for Nullus, as the Chiron has spotted the priest. The priest will probably get taken down here. This Auroch should be able to retreat back to its base here without being lost, but Nullus is going to be a little bit upset after seeing how many Aurochs that Joe has stolen right now. Thank you so much for the 14 months, Sandro81. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. As now the Chiron and the Minotaur looking to move in and possibly take out down some of Joe's villages here, as Joe should have his armory already started, if not finished. He doesn't have any wood income here. I don't think he's touched wood just yet. So he's also eating cows here over there. So I don't like that either, as you do see the sentinels getting grabbed. You can see that Joe's got all of this hunt. This is decent addition to his army, but he doesn't really need it. Eating this hunt is going to really speed his advance time up. But wait, Joe's not gathering any gold at the moment for whatever reason. Not sure what's going on there, but he is finishing up all the food over there. He definitely could be pulling off of this these cows and grabbing the 500 gold that he needs. So a little bit of a strange build here from Joe, where he's just everything on food at this point. As Nullus now eating the Aurochs here, he drops down his archery range and stable over here, as the units are going to start massing out. The question is, where does Nullus want to go now? Nullus does have a fairly strong point of attack over here in this gold mine. If you can move on to this gold mine and cut that off while having units over here or buildings over here to keep an eye on these gold mines, then not only does Nullus stop the nice safe gold mine, but he also stops this town center from being snuck here. As Joe's been doing that every single game here. He's been going for very greedy Migdol placements and very greedy third town center grabs. As Nullus moves forward and he's just hanging outside here, we do see the villagers moving forward for Nullus, which I do like. He's going to grab the food over here and also be ready to throw some buildings down on this position a little bit later. So we do see the villagers now jumping onto this gold right now. The Chiron and the Toxotes can pop over here and pick off this gold mine. And Joe's actually in a lot of trouble here, as he's still not advanced. He actually hasn't been gathering from this gold mine very much thus far. Do we see like pickaxe or something? No, the pickaxe is on the way though, so the villagers will start being able to mine in a little bit, or mine faster in a little bit. But Joe's just about to get his 500 gold in the bank, but it might be too little too late here, as the Pharaoh does manage to snipe down the Minotaur here, and the villagers do have to retreat away from this gold mine for the time being, and Nullus can just sit in here. He's got a handful of Toxotes, and he has to... that's just what's going on, and Nephthys is on the way. Villagers here are going to get caught out just a little bit, but they probably won't lose their lives. Going to be making their way back to the town center. No real problems here. So a little bit of health loss. He's going to be deleting those Aurochs and eating them underneath his town center. No problems here while that's going on. It's a little bit of a distraction tactic by Joe, as he's going to be able to get the gold he needs to throw down a Migdol. But he's definitely in a little bit of trouble here. Does he have himself husbandry yet? No, still no husbandry. A little bit confused about the lack of that, as now we see some walls coming up over on this side. I like that from Nullus to block off these gold mines. The map is fairly large here though, so being able to move from one side to the other is going to be a little bit challenging, as we do see the units returning back over here, checking on this gold mine. Joe is back onto the gold mine. Obviously he's going to be here. This is This is a pretty big mistake from Nullus. He could definitely be in here abusing this position a lot better than he is. You just need to leave the Chiron in here on passive stance to keep line of sight and keep damage done. As Joe's villages are going to pop out. Where is he going to throw the Migdol? Is the big question. Right next to his town center. Throw a market down maybe. And then see how, and then sell wood for a little bit to get some units out is kind of the best option right now. As this Migdol goes down, this doesn't actually protect this gold mine over here. As Nullus right now, he's still pumping units out. He's throwing more military buildings down. There's a real world in which Nullus can just win the game right here and now by just having a little bit better line of sight of the map. As we do see the Scorpion Men going to come over onto this side of the map, looking to take down these villages here. As the villagers are just hanging out, going to be losing their lives, though. The Scorpion Man is such a strong unit. He had 3 hits a villager from memory. So that one does go down. Those go down very, very fast. And not only that, 5.0 speed can chase these villagers down if he so chooses. But and that's kind of what he's going to do. That's another villager kill. There's another one there to go down. And that's beautiful play there from Joe. He gets his Migdol up. He's going to start making those chariot arches. We see a marker getting dropped here as the villagers are going to come back over onto this gold mine. Plenty of food, plenty of wood in the bank for Joe, so he can sell those at the moment to make some decent units. The problem is going to be, how does he deal with the Nullus army here, considering how slow the army is getting produced in a way. So, I mean, Nullus is just so far in front of Joe in terms of military, in terms of economy. It's 55 villages to 52, but those are Greek villages here. And Nullus now throwing down plow or getting plow, going to start making those farms. There is a little bit of hunt still on the map, but gathering it's a little bit challenging here as you do see the chariot archers now able to start sniping down those Toxotes. So Nullus does have to be a little bit careful here with his Hippocon being away from his Toxotes, because Joe's going to get some value here. Value in which he really shouldn't be getting at this point, as the Hippocon going to come here. We do have a couple of crocodiles of set to kind of make things a little bit challenging for Nullus. Thank you so much for the 7 months, Kalos JC. Appreciate you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for your kind comments. Now, Joe ready to go Mythic Age in terms of food, but the gold still lacking. He could think about getting himself quarry here as well. So we take a look at what Nullus has got over on this position. He's got hand axe, he's got pickaxe, he's got husbandry, he's got hunting dogs. And Nullus is going to be able to get to the next stage very, very soon. Let's check out how much gold is left in this gold mine first and foremost. 800 gold remaining, as we do see a cheeky shifting sands being used. He does hit all of those Toxotes, so that's actually really, really big here for Joe. He's going to lose a handful of, or a chariot archer here, it would seem, as the rest of those Toxotes and the Chiron does get taken out. That's going to hurt Nullus just a little bit and maybe allow Joe to get out here onto that second gold mine. But remember what we said about Set kind of needing to have that shifting sands as a bit of a surprise tactic in the kind of mid-game for a timing attack, or just like a big push onto a third town center or a second town center. He doesn't have that shifting sands anymore, and we are going to be seeing the units moving out onto this map, trying to get the third town center. Joe, he's in a decent position here to make this push work. There is still restoration, and this might be a forced ancestors here as restoration comes down. There's the ancestors. The Ajax is alive here, and Nullus is simply just going to retreat back, and now Joe's only got access to a tornado in this game to really make any push work here. As the unit's going to retreat away, these villagers might have to pull back as well, but there's no siege to make this this push really do any damage, considerable damage to Nullus. So long as he doesn't lose too many villages, he's going to be fine here as the ancestors do push in. I mean, Nullus could just retreat through this wall. He doesn't need to fight this in the slice. We do see the Chiron getting taken down over here very, very quickly. Nice garrison marker there from Nullus as Joe was trying to take that out. We've got the double siege works getting dropped now for Joe as the Pharaoh comes through to grab those himself. We see the minions getting taken out little by little here as Nullus is trying to push in onto these chariot archers as best as he can, but he's going to be losing those Hippocons pretty quick. But Aphrodite on the way, Joe's at 134 of 145 population. Heaps of resources in the bank right now. Not spending his resources all too well just yet, but he's going to start making the siege towers. He does have a town center. There's really, really close to his opponent's town center. So mercenary are a real problem right now for Nullus in this position. But Ancestors gets dropped immediately. Shaft mining going to be coming in. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fortress getting dropped on this front in the near future by Nullus, with Petropolis going to be coming out. The other option for Nullus is to simply just rush Mythic Age here and Earthquake this position, take it for himself. Wouldn't be a bad idea in the slide, as we do see one mercenary cavalry already getting produced, but it will go down pretty quick. Look how look at how slowly this goes down. It takes like 4 shots or 4 volleys from those Toxoides, plus the Hippocon dealing damage as well here. As Joe's retreating his units ever so slightly, spending his resources nicely here as well. The unit's going to be moving around. We do have to remember one thing right now, and that's that Joe has not really started farming, so his farm transition is a little bit off. He is 80 villages deep. He's going to probably try and throw a market up in this top corner, and there is a problem with this gold mine being so far from the other gold mine here as well, as we will be seeing the Nemean line actually getting sniped down very, very easily there by the Pharaoh. A bit of a mistake by Nullus not to snipe that Pharaoh down with his Toxoides. The siege tower here taking some good amounts of damage here, as Joe's sitting at 140 of 145 population. Nullus trying to push in. He has leveled the playing field in terms of score, but he still doesn't have his 3rd town center. He's trying to push in here. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. He's going to drop below his 130 population down to 118 here, and he does have to retreat, as Joe now pushing forward himself, looking to take down these Toxoides in the near future here, as that siege tower just hanging out on the front, not really doing all too much apart from causing difficulties for Nullus's Toxoides here. Remember, the units will target the closest thing to them. So if you plant a 95% Pierce Armor unit in front of an opponent's archers, they will deal a lot less damage unless they're microed here. As you see, another siege works getting dropped over here. Joe not quite able to push through Nullus, but I think Nullus is kind of okay with these trades. Remember, the longer that Nullus holds in this game, the longer that Nullus stays alive in a Hades, to be sure, is what I'm talking about, is the better for him. So he's more than happy to keep on forcing trades here for Joe, as Joe right now is only just getting plow. He's made his farms. He's starting to farm over here. How many farms total does he have? He doesn't need to think about getting irrigation really, really soon here. He's got 14 farms over here. He's got 20 farms over here. So just 20 farms at this point with only plow not even researched. So his food economy a little bit slow, but yes, he's not really building any food units here. So it probably will start skyrocketing once husbandry and plow get researched. I love these siege tower positioning, moving those in, forcing the enemy units to target them down. The Hippocon even as well doing the damage there. We see heavy Toxoides coming through for Nullus here, as heavy cavalry also coming in, as the villagers getting picked off on these walls as well, as the chariot archers are just hanging back, doing their darnness to get good damage done. But now we have heavy Hippocon in, so the Hippocon is starting to look pretty scary. We've got ourselves 187 HP. We've also got copper shields as well, which pushes that armor up to 32%. So that's a lot of damage that the chariot archers that Joe has need to do to get through those Hippocon here. And now we do have to remember that part of the strategy here of doing full chariot arch ascend here as set is that you should be able to get a really, really strong Mythic Age. If you can't get a good Mythic Age here with set going full chariot archers, your opponent's not going to feel the damage here. And right now, Nullus's trades, while they're not the best in the world, they're completely fine. And he's getting himself a 3rd town center now on the back. And not only that, Joe has to basically push it straight through the jugular here of Nullus. We are seeing villagers coming up to the top corner of the map. They will spot this gold mine over here. This gold mine has expired, and Joe's going to be in a little bit of trouble here, as we've got villagers coming up to the top side of the map here. They will be knowing about this gold mine, and Nullus is just going to leave here. He's going to move up to the top side of the map. He does have to be a little bit careful because Joe is very simply going to be able to push through here. We've got a fortress coming up for Nullus. We've got a market in the corner for Nullus as well. Nullus, plenty of resources in the bank right now. The units returning back over here. We've got ourselves buildings getting thrown up on this position. Migdal Stronghold coming up as well. Villagers for Joe currently all moving on to wood at this point. He's not actually decided. Oh, he's sending 16 villagers over to that gold mine. As Toxotes are forming here on this fight, Nullus is, he's still actually got plenty of resources in the bank. He has decided to click up through Artemis. Where's he clicked up through Artemis? On the front town center here. Being a little bit cautious of a potential tornado that could take his town center down. But going through Artemis, going to be able to drop that earthquake on this position. Now, we do have 3 siege works, a town center, a Migdal stronghold, and a barracks coming up here. If he has himself masons, which he does do, there's a world where earthquake doesn't actually take this town center down. So we see walls getting dropped up over here. We've got a barracks up as well. Hippocon getting trained in onto this position. Nullus not yet with any population space to actually do that. So Nullus is not able to get a gold staff here in this game just yet, as these walls very important here for Joe to get thrown up. We see ourselves irrigation coming through for Nullus as well, so his food economy is going to start coming in very, very nicely as the Wadjet getting some good damage done. The cavalry doing what they can for Joe, but generally speaking, Set doesn't want to make cavalry. You're better off going, you're better off spending the food and gold that you would on, say, heavy cavalry here in getting heavy spearmen and champion spearmen, Hathor spearmen. Just because you don't have any way to get like desert winds for your cavalry are just a little bit too weak as Set. Ra has the best cavalry obviously and also has desert winds, but also you can go cavalry with Isis because of the desert winds getting Osiris. That is, desert winds gives the extra bonus move speed and damage for the cavalry, like HP as well maybe, I'm not 100% sure. But right now Nullus's army is just killing it. It's too strong for Joe, and Joe kind of feels this as the unit's going to be pushing in. We don't have any siege just yet for Nullus, as he does drop himself this earthquake in this position. He drops it over here though, as the town center is going to be able to survive this one with a healthy amount of HP in reserve here. 300 HP remaining. The Migdal stronghold coming through here. Joe's got 151 of 106 population. Mercenary cavalry coming in. We do see the Pharaoh attempting to get in here, but will get sniped down. Nice play there by Nullus to snipe that one off. The village is going to be pulled around. They need to come in and start repairing this town center up. Now we've got a Chimera coming through. We've got a Heliopolis training for Nullus. Over on this position, we do see some Hippocon, or just one getting trained into that stable here, as Nullus is putting everything he can in onto this position as the Chimera comes into the center of these chariot arts. It's going to be tanking up those chariot arts for quite some time. 60% pierce armor, 800 HP is a lot of damage that this Chimera is tanking up there. It does end up going down, but so much good damage soaked up there, as now the town center is getting taken down by this lone Heliopolis. Joe not repairing this one at all. We do see a handful of units moving out, but Joe looking for a raid at this point. But the town center drops. Joe is down one town center in this game, so Nullus has got an advantage of 20 population, soon to be an advantage of 40 population. Once Nullus solidifies this area, potentially a fortress or something else, we see more Heliopoli coming in onto this position to take down the Migdal stronghold. Joe, no real wood in the bank here as his army retreating away. Joe going to be looking for some raids, but Nullus is completely walled in on this map. The villagers walking forward for Nullus as he's like, yep, time to grab this town center for myself. No problems where that's concerned. The Migdal stronghold will end up falling very fast as well. Villagers going to come in and start shacking this one down as Nullus is searching for villagers to kill. There are these wood villages over here that are kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's a perfectly fine forest over here as we see a Migdal stronghold barracks getting dropped down onto this position, as the Prodromus is actually very true. It's better to just use the Prodromus to move back and forth than it is to actually target those chariot archers. But while this is all going on, the Migdal stronghold gets taken down. The siege works don't have much going on here. Joe's got himself 1,000 food, not quite enough gold just yet to be getting himself to the next age. But that's definitely an option here for Joe. If he can get to the mythic age here and hit that town center, he should be maybe not quite able to take the town center down, but with a little bit of extra help, he will be able to, as the villagers do get spotted on that position. They are getting pushed back. Joe's still attempting to fight his way back into this game. 650 food in the back, 1,160 gold, 1,200 gold. He can still make those mercenary cavalry, so he should be able to push back out. He's got himself a decent trader out as well at 17 camel caravans here. As the Toxotes getting taken down, we see the barracks going down as well. Nullus trying to take down more of these buildings. We're starting to see some mercenary cavalry coming out onto this position to take down the Toxotes here. But these Heliopoli are brutally strong. Nullus is 4 town centers right now. He's 160 out of 180 population. Champion cavalry coming through to boot. And it's going to be such a tough time for Joe to come back here. We have seen Egyptian players do this from time to time. Joe's coming forward to grab this location over here. One option for Joe would be to sneak past this wall over here and throw up buildings on this position to target down this town center while trying to defend this position here. Possibly mercenary infantry would be a little bit better here, but Joe gonna just decide to tap out and take this game to a game number 5 instead of trying to fight back here in this game. Nice play here from Nullus. Solid gameplay, solid way to keep Joe at bay. Joe advancing way too late to the heroic age, not getting the units out fast enough. Against the 2 town center Hades, there's no real reason why you should be any later than 8 minutes here with set getting to the heroic age. If we take a quick look at the improvements here, you can see the heroic age for Joe is 9 minutes and 11 seconds, which does mean that you're behind a full minute in terms of production on your chariot archers. And if you take a quick look at how fast chariot archers train, they train in 6 seconds. So that's a minute at 6 seconds means 1 minute earlier, Joe could have had a whole 30 extra population. Yes, it's not quite how it works because you're not going to have as much income as you might think, but to support that many, maybe. But point is that if you go on mass chariots, you should be aiming to get to the heroic age as fast as humanly possible in order to get your mythic age timings working, your shifting sands shenanigans. I do think that shifting sands, while it did help Joe secure his 3rd town center here, you just don't need it. You need to be thinking more about ways in which you can win a game with shifting sands, because that's how good of a god power it is, rather than kind of saving a game, as it were. Anyways, a fantastic game by Nullus. If you guys are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.